Today we are going to discuss about the progressive group task. Progressive group tasks are conducted by the group testing officer on day 3 and 4, and these are the part of group task exercises that are being done to evaluate our candidates' organizing and planning abilities and its compatibility with the team. So let us see what is all there in the progressive group task. So these tasks are designed to check all the aspects, all the officer-like qualities, such as organizing and planning, social adjustment, social effectiveness, and the dynamic factors. The ability of a candidate to make solutions then and there at that point itself is a big task that the officer evaluates and give marks accordingly. So the different subsections under the group task include progressive group task, half group task, individual command task, and the final group task. These all are done one by one, and today we are going to talk about the progressive group task. So progressive group tasks are basically 4 in number, and it is named as progressive group task because the level of difficulty increases from task 1 to task 4. The task 1 is easiest of all, and any new candidate with average or over average intelligence who has the ability to analyze all the structures would be able to learn and then perform in task number 2, 3 and onwards. So it is the same that is written here. So the same as I already told that these are 4 in number and the difficulty level increases as we go from 1 to onwards. It is an outdoor task. Already told that it is conducted by the group testing officer. So this slide talks about the various skills required by the candidate to be able to successfully perform. So the slide talks that the candidate should have the cognitive ability to judge all the structures there, to be able to listen all the instructions that are given, and to be able to perform accordingly. Cooperation with the team. This is one of the most important aspects which the candidate should practice to be able to mix well with the team and show compatibility without arguing and keep all the points and thoughts very effectively without agitating someone or being self-agitated. So this also talks about that a candidate's natural performance should come up and candidate shouldn't show any learned response, which in case is seen that candidate who has already practiced is able to perform very well in the first structure, but the graph of its performance gradually decreases as it moves onwards. So this is one thing that is very important. The candidate should focus its true performance and should perform there and then, pertaining all the instructions carefully. This is again the main thing here is the visualization. A candidate should be able to visualize in mind and perform and be able to give all the solutions so as not only to help the team in completing the task but also showing its importance in the group. Self-confidence is very essential for the candidate because one shouldn't be subdued or subdue other persons in the group. The person should be compatible and thereafter move forward with the group and should perform accordingly. Some important notices that as we all know that group tasks are teamwork, and so a candidate shouldn't focus on putting the display of self-knowledge and rather work with the team to bring solutions. And it is found that most of the candidates are able to find solutions. So these structures overall they have part relation with our day-to-day life. Any candidate who has some past experiences would be able to do these with the ease. Again, the same thing that candidates shouldn't put forward the learned responses in the group task and should focus on originality of thought. This would be very essential as it would also be seen by the group testing officer, and you should certainly be given credit of the same. The procedure is group task is that the whole time which is allotted is of 40 to 60 minutes for all the four tasks one by one, and it depends on the group testing officer whether he wants you to perform all the four tasks and takes you through all these tasks. So the level of participation of the candidates should be very enthusiastic right from the very first task, because sometimes it is seen that the group testing officer doesn't take the group through all the four tasks and just uh, understand their intentions and move forward. So the participation should be right from the very first task, because you never know how many tasks the group testing officer has thought for the group. So there are some rules such as rule of infinity. There are two lines, the starting line and the ending line, and between them, all the team members can only go down on the points which are marked and cannot use any other space between these two lines, because that would be considered as a violation and the team has to start again. Second rule is rule of distance or jump. The maximum jump that a candidate can make is of 4 feet. So when ever performing these structures, this should be kept in mind, as again jumping more than 4 feet would be considered as a violation of rules. The rule of outbound area, that is the area especially ground and mud surface from the start line to the end line, and the area painted with the restricted colors such as red, which we will see in further slides. Here it is written the rule of colors. So rule of colors basically states that colors such as white is the area where we can put our loads, as well as the team members can also use that area. Red area is the restricted one. Blue area is the area where a person can use, but the loads can't be kept there. Black area is the area which should be seen in accordance with the color that is being used. For example, if the black color is used with the red color, so the whole area should be considered as red color. And similarly, if the if the black color is used with any other color, the whole area should be treated with the same color only. For example, it is written here that red color area cannot be touched or utilized at all. Blue or yellow color area can be touched, but minus the load or helping material. White color area can be touched or used with or without load as desired by the candidates while performing the task. Example D of the black color area that I told. Black color can be touched or associated with in accordance with the color it is being used. As it is written here that, for example, if the black color is used with red color, then the entire structure would be thought of red color, and the candidates can't use that pole or rod which is marked the red color. So the next rule is rule of rigidity. For example, if we have to travel a long distance, so we can't tie, for example, a wooden pole with the plank to cover that distance. We have to think of some alternate structures, because that would again violate the rule of rigidity. The rule of group load, for example, this rule states that one should work as a team and specifies that entire group must move from one place to another, from starting line to the ending line. And any player, if any candidate, if fails to go from starting line to ending line, the entire team has to begin again and perform the task again. So there is a note written that the individuals should not lack the team spirit and should work with the team, ensuring that all the team members are able to complete the task. there is another rule which is of one-time movable drum. So there would be a structure called drum, which would be allowed as per the group testing officer. So this rule states that there would be a drum which can be lifted only once from the ground and can be placed only at once. So it is based on the team to decide from where to pick up the drum and to where it should be fixed so as to give the team the advantage of that thing. Rule of overstepping out of bound area. So if any candidate oversteps from the bound area, the candidate should accept his mistake and apologize and start again. And if any candidate feels that he or she has violated the rule and the officer is not able to see, so he or she should move forward. This shouldn't be done because everything there is being noticed by the officers. So accepting the mistake and moving forward would be the best possible option, because it would also help the team. No, okay. Rule of throwing. So this rule states that the team members cannot throw the loads and materials along with the lightweight members from one point to another point. They have to create, by using the structures, a path from which they can operate. Rule of time. So rule of time is only to judge the ability of the candidates to perform in pressure situations. The group testing officer would always tell that the time is less and would always pinch the team members regarding the same. So at this time, it is expected from a candidate to remain calm and cool and work accordingly and finish the task. So the instructions. It is very essential for the candidates to listen all the instructions very carefully, because instructions can be modified as per the need and as per the changes. So any candidate who thinks that listening instructions wouldn't be beneficial, the candidate is wrong, and every candidate should certainly listen all the instructions and work accordingly. Again, these are various instructions. These all will be given there by the officer very clearly. So it is advised that all the candidates appearing for the same should listen all the instructions there very carefully. The group testing officer would also make the candidates familiar with the materials. So there are wooden planks, pole, and some other also, and other structures such as the drum, which we saw in the. These all things would be familiarized by the officer to the candidates, and the candidate would be able to solve the structure. So sometimes many candidates feel that the group testing officer is not seeing the working of the team, but that is a false illusion created by some candidates. The group testing officer is always looking keenly to the working of the team, so the team members should work towards their goal, that is to complete the task and move forward. Guiding directives. Again, here the same thing, the candidate should be very attentive in listening to the instructions. He or she should be very enthusiastic, calm, composed, and should keep all the rules in the back of their mind and never break them. Because breaking any rules would not only render you to start again from the starting line, but would also create an impact of carelessness in the mind of the group testing officer. More directives include that the candidate should be careful in observing the solutions and should not hesitate to try and to do the trial and error there, because a candidate who is trying different possible solutions would be definitely able to come up with the correct solution to solve the problem. Again, that the candidate should remember that there are three different avenues to resolve the given task, and the task can be always solved by a simple and more sustainable structure. This is another very important point, that a candidate should always be the source of encouragement, hope, and enthusiasm in the group. Because sometimes it is seen when a team is not able to come up to the solution of the structure, some people are agitated and they try to misbehave in the group. This is not at all acceptable, and all the candidates should be calm and composed and should work in finding out all the possible solutions. So this is another point, that a candidate should never get blocked, and a person usually gets blocked in some cases when he or she starts comparing his or her performance with other members and start thinking of the result. So the advice is always to go for one task at a time and to deliver the 100% in every task. Another thing is that a candidate should never underestimate himself, because many times in such pressure situations, many candidates are unable to think freely, and as a result, they are not able to come up with the solution. So this is not advisable, and the candidate should be relaxed, calm, and composed, so as be able to come up with a possible solution. This is another very important point, that a candidate should always follow the we approach, not the me approach. This all begins, the we approach begins with a group task and stays till the very end. So remember that a candidate should always follow the we approach. Another thing is that a candidate, a future officer should always be considerate about his other men. So it is also desired from a candidate that he or she should also take care of other people in the group and work by taking all the precautions and successfully complete. This another point is that a candidate should be free in sharing ideas with the group, regardless of the judgment issues, because sharing such ideas would eventually lead to the conclusion of finishing the task. Another point is that the candidate must adopt cooperative, not competitive approach. It is desirable from a candidate that in group tasks, the competitive approach should be kept aside and cooperative approach should be taken care of. Because by cooperating, team members would not only be able to come up to the solution, but also would create an impact in the mind of the group testing officer. Some important observations. So the group tasks are basically designed to empower for a candidate to showcase his team skills. So it should be taken in such a manner that a candidate has to portray his team skills, the team spirit, and the enthusiasm that he or she carries. Again, the important point I am repeating is the candidate should never go with a competitive approach. Rather, a candidate should always be cooperative with other members, share ideas freely, and come up to the solution. So, group task, another very important point is that some people feel that the group tasks are for fun there, but it is not generally the case. They are designed in such a way to look at overall personality of a candidate, its application in the group, its calm and composed nature, ability to think freely even in pressure situations. All are these being checked in such tasks. The candidate should go there with a friendly and polite attitude and should accept as and when some mistakes are being occurred. For example, previously in the slides, we talked about the rule of overstepping the bounded area that results in the team to start again from the starting line. So the candidate should be polite enough to accept his mistake to the group and should again start as early as possible from the starting line. This is again that all the instructions should be taken care of. This is the most important point in the group task. The instructions are the key. If the candidate is able to recall all the instructions, or the if the candidate is able to recall all the instructions in his mind, then definitely the candidate would be able to come up to the solution. The practical application. So moving forward, we have some structures to give you a demonstration of the group tasks that are being conducted in real. So these are some techniques. We can create a bridge from travel to one place to another. Suppose we are seeing that there is some distance that can be traveled by placing the wooden plank between the two structures. So we can use that thing to go. So this is the demonstration. Suppose there are two poles that are being there, and uh, we are provided with this wooden plank. So what we can do, we can put this wooden plank on these two poles. Sometimes the modifications that the group testing officer do is that they make one pole bigger and create a gap in them and another pole shorter. So we can again put the wooden plank in the bigger pole in the gap, and it can again be a stable structure. Sometimes the distance between the two poles is slightly greater. So in such situations, what we can do, we can use the wooden plank. We can use the wooden plank along with the rope so as to give it the stability required, and the candidates can move on from there. Sometimes these type of structures are there. So again, we can put the wooden plank and move forward. Using the rope effectively is very essential in tying the objects, tying the wooden plank or the pole at some places. So this is here we only have one structure like a supporting structure, and we are provided with rope and the wooden plank. So what we can do, we can use this rope to tie the wooden plank in such a way so that the structure is not only stable but also helps the candidate to move from one place to another. Secondly, we can use this another technique for the same. We can create with the rope this kind of structure, and we can put the wooden plank inside and rotate it completely. So this would again be a very stable structure, and the candidates can utilize the ideas taken from here in their structure. Sometimes a cross structure is also there. So similarly, if we put the wooden plank directly here and move over it, there is a chance that the wooden plank may fall. So as to provide the stability, we have used the rope and tied both the ends of the both the ends above, so that the wooden plank does not move even when someone goes from it. This is again a structure. There is something supporting things here, and we have been provided with the rope and the wooden plank. So what we can do here is we can fix our wooden plank to this, and to provide a support on the second side, we can tie the rope and we can go from here. Third is the lever technique. So sometimes, as we also discuss the role of colors. So here it is written the red area means it cannot be touched by even the load or by the person, both things. Second color we see it is blue. So blue color also we cannot put the load here. But the third color that we see is white, and white color, as we know that white can be used for both the load as well as for the persons to move. And we are provided with these materials, that is the wooden plank, rope, a pole like structure. So what the possible solution in this case would be keeping a rope by bundling it on the white color and placing the pole on another side and then moving from here to here. So in this way we are not touching the red structure and the blue structure and directly coming from the starting line to the white structure. Second thing is again the same. From this, that solution can be think of. This is in the middle. If we sometimes are struck in such a situation where we have white and red and it is in the middle of the ground, so we can use again the same similar thing. We can put the pole and put the wooden plank over the white color and move forward in the direction.